Okay, you ready? You ready? Let's go, man. Let's go. So I am busy doing the headlight wiring. So these are the high and low beam for the outside lights. So I ran that all through here and cut them off, and then I've got to take these other two wires and crimp them all together and make a jumper that goes over to this light, which is your actual high beam. So when you hit the dimmer, you're going to activate the other bulb in this one and then this light, and that's how you get bright lights. So I'll have to pull this light out and get a jumper over here, length I need, then hook the rest of them in again to those, which are going to go to the other side, repeat the process, and a jumper over. Oh, but before I do that, I've got to get a ground, which they don't put in the loom because Chrysler grounded them down in here in the front of the car. So I've got a bag with the ground cables and the ends already crimped on them. I don't know why they did that. We'll see how well they fit. I might be cutting them off. We'll see. Anyway, it's just a slow, painstaking process. So I built this stainless tray. I had some food grade stainless out there that was polished, and I cut a piece off, and it had a lip already bent on it. Gives it good strength. This is my fuse box, and inside here are two 175 amp fuses with a crossover plate on this end. So this is the battery cable from the starter, which will be hot all the time. So you want it to be able to draw from both fuses. Alternator comes over to this side. This wire is power for the inside of the car. Then the battery cable will come up. The battery's going in the trunk. It'll come up under here, and it'll have to go up and hook to the starter along with this one, which supplies juice to everything. So, and there's probably, I think, some other wires that I've got to get put in here. I can't remember what right off the bat. Oh, I know. My ignition box got to draw power off of that. So hopefully by today I'll have the wiring stuff put in. I can't put the plastic ends on because I want to slide some of this type of wiring loom up over it, and I don't have enough of the purple stuff. I'm going to see if I can find some black for that, and I'll have to slide it up, and it's got to go over both these looms, the lighting. So this kind of cool. This orange one is for a fan, electric fan, which I'll have. Horn, park lights, all that fun. Oh, that's another one. Park lights, I got to do that one. And then this is my engine wiring loom, which I got to slide some stuff over. I've got to pull some wires out for temperature and the oil pressure sending unit, and I can't remember what else, but these American Auto wire kits, the wires are all marked all the way through, which makes it awesome. So you can find the wire no matter where on the wire. They're marked probably every 6 inches or a foot. Tells you exactly what they are. See, the tan one says headlight low beam. This one says headlight high beam. So I got my new GoPro, so that's what I'm filming on. So I have a camera now again. Beep, beep. I'm out here working on my headlights, and this wiring kit is from American Auto Wire, so hopefully that's focusing on that. So I'm trying to do the turn signal park lights, and it shows that it has a ground spade on the housing, and mine doesn't have that. The housings on the back side are metal, and they're screwed with metal screws to the valance up here on the front end. And what I did is I took the battery charger and I hooked the ground lug to the car frame and then touched the wires one at a time on the park signal lamp till I could figure out which is which. And this is the way it's actually wired. Anyway, wiring is slow and tedious. This shouldn't take long now that I think I finally have it figured out. But I got to really watch myself so I don't make a boo-boo, because it's super easy to make a boo-boo. Mr. Griff's out here hiding bones with me. I have the left side assembled, and these are my light connections here. So this is the low beam one, and then this is the ground wire that'll go hooked to the chassis. So all I need now is some braided, split braided loom protector to put on these. Now I can pull all the lights and everything out that side and start assembling all that. But Mr. Griff ain't gonna leave me alone. He's not gonna leave me alone, are you? Huh? What do you want? I don't speak corgi. Don't know what that means. You're crazy. So we're building the approaches to this scale this morning. Not a bad day, bright sunshine, it's cold. Got to build it out a chunky 3/4. Chunky, chunky, chunky. See that A-frame deal at the top there? That's where the cylinder mounts. Lets it wiggle wobble around, so when he hits the brakes, slamming the door against the back to get everything to fall out, it really wiggles. There's some rubber stops on there that hit the bed. So these scale guys have dicked up my whole day. He's got a big old 9-mile long Hilti drill bit, and he's drilling down through those inspection covers. So I can't get up on there. So I don't know what to tell him. I think Jake comes back, I'll have him dump one more on this end, and then I'll get in the truck with him and have him drop me off at home, and then have him dump a few at the other end, and then I don't know, come back tomorrow or later today. I hate that. I just effing hate it. I was scheduled to be here today to do this, and then these CSs show up. Because I've started everything. I got the grader warmed up, brought over here. I wanted to get this done and drive it home. I didn't want to come back tomorrow and cold start it. But that's what I'm going to have to do because they decided they need to come today. Without any warning. Nobody told me. I didn't get the memo. When we first met over here with them, and he's telling us, I need it this far from the sidewalk, and we're like just rolling our eyeballs. They're acting like we've never done this before, but yet they give us idiotic grade. Anyway, I just have to laugh. It's like, yeah, we're stupid. We don't know how to do any of that. So Matt talked to the manager here, and he pounded in a hub, and he got actual grade that they wanted, and that's what we build it from. End of problem, you dumb old fart. Oh, I'm pissy today. This pisses me off. I got other shit I need to do. It's just a freaking interruption every day. I got other shit to do. I should go over there and close their trap doors and throw their cones out of the way and back up on that thing and smear that shit out. But I ain't gonna do that. I'm just gonna sit here and stew. Get pissy. Oh. Okay, in between running the grader and doing some other things, I got quite a bit actually done on the car. So all my headlights are wired. Get the pigtails hanging out. I've got the park and turn signals wired. I got the horn wired, meep meep, and I have 2 leftover wires. Have no idea what these go to. No. Black one is fog lights. See, this kit will work on a Challenger or a Cuda, and Cuda's had fog lights. And then I believe this one, they didn't mark it, but I believe it's the washer, windshield washer. So next is the engine bay. So I've got water temperature, oil pressure. Some of those go over here to the Mallory ignition box. I got an ignition feed, a keyed switch. One of them's got to go to the coil or to the box anyway for the tachometer. They give you a pre-wired, well, it's got the end already on it. This is for the wiper motor, but it's not going to fit this one. So I have to cut the wires off of this and put new terminals on. And this had a sealed setup, has rubber boots in it, and these do not. They're wide open. So I don't know what you do there, whether you put silicone in there or silicone grease to try to keep the water and the corrosion out. It's not like I'm going to be driving this in mag chloride or in the middle of the winter, so it'd probably be all right. Then it's time to move to the trunk. I've got a battery box, a nice aluminum one, billet. Ooh, pretty, 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 to go in that ugly trunk. Anyway, then it's time to start stretching cable. So what I'm thinking about doing is I'm going to go probably with 1/0 cable, or maybe 2/0, up to somewhere in here, and then downgrade to the 6 gauge, the same size as what goes down to the starter. Because there's no way in the world I'm going to get 1/0 or 2/0 on the starter. And then I got to bring the ground cable too, probably in 1/0, all the way up, and probably bolt it to the bell housing so it's got a good ground to the engine block. And then I know I've got, used to have somewhere, a ground strap from the car body to the engine block. Can't remember where that was, but I got to make sure and get lots of grounds so everything's good. So everybody was commenting on my air cleaner. So that's the air cleaner that came with the car. And yeah, that's pretty small. It's just sitting on there. I mean, I just put a bolt through it because I don't even have a threaded stud. But I got my eyeball on some cool looking air cleaners, so I'm gonna have to do a little measuring in here and see how much height I can get in here. What's, you know, what kind of air filter I can get in there. But yeah, I don't know. That does look kind of small, doesn't it? And then I don't know what to do for my radiator. So I bought this piece of crap from a company called Engineered Cooling Products. And you've probably seen them advertising on Instagram and Facebook. I would not buy one of these. So there's bolts, holes, threaded bolt holes in there to mount them. And these deals, the loops on them, I had to cut it to get the bolt in. And then as you can see at the bottom, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing to hold it on. It's like that side over there. It's just, there's not enough meat left on that. And so I sent him I emailed him and I told him that it's not wide enough. And that in order to make it work, I'd have to weld aluminum on there. And they're like, well, we're glad you got it figured out. And I'm like, no, I don't have it figured out. I want you to take this piece of shit back. Engineered Cooling Products is garbage for making radiator to fit a big block Chrysler. Junk, J-U-N-K. So you got holes here where it's supposed to bolt on, and it won't fit those holes. Just absolutely won't fit them. Okay, so back out here on the Challenger this morning. I had to go in the house and watch some videos, some old ones. I'm glad I made them because I've got to pull that bulkhead connector back off, and I've got to plug a wire in there for the heater and one for the AC compressor. Thank goodness I made videos. It just helps a lot. Anyway, I've got my headlight harness all tucked away in there, and then this is my engine bay harness. So I gotta figure out how to hook up my ignition box. I'm probably gonna have to call technical because they put a brown one in here, and they tell you to run this over to the coil so that when you go to start it, it's a constant 12-volt feed to the coil. But I don't think with that MSD that I've got to use this, but I'm gonna have to double check because the MSD wiring deal for Chrysler, this is basically what I have, just two wires out of here plug into my fire core distributor. It doesn't show anything doing that, so I doubt I got to do that with it, because these big old heavy 10 gauge wires are the feed for that, and they'll come over here, and there's the ignition feed wire, and then the other one's a ground, and I think I've just got to hook that. I think the ground has to go to the ground cable from the battery, so that's why I want to run the ground cable from the trunk up here and then hook it to the back of the block on the bell housing, and then I may have to hook that ground wire to that. So, and then somewhere I think in all my stuff I've got the original ground cable that came off the dash here somewhere and went down to the bell housing. I got to figure out where that went, but this is my heater wire connector here. And if you remember, the kit says it supports a car with a heater, but it doesn't. There's no wire in that fuse block for the heater. I don't know why they didn't do that, because I think both on the Challenger and the Cuda, you've got to get over to the motor to do that. I think it said something in there about drilling a hole through the firewall, and I didn't want to do that because there was extra ports in the main block there, so it was like, why would I want to drill a hole? So onward and upward. So I had a bad plug-in on my extension cord, one of these that Brother Bates sent me from Colorado. I don't know what happened, it cremated it, but it transferred enough heat into the block heater on Petey that it cremated it. So every time you plug it in, it kicks the GFI. So I gotta go haul another load of 3/4 out to the scale job to finish the ramps up onto the scale. So let's fire old Petey up here. Oh yeah, good oil pressure. Didn't need a block heater anyway. That's a good old engine. Good try. That warm up, and then we'll go get a load while I continue working on the Challenger. So I had to call MSD to double check on that brown wire, and I don't have to use it. That's for an old Chrysler with a ballast resistor. So all I got to do is hook up my ignition feed, which is a 12 gauge wire, into this little teeny 16 gauge wire. This is the feed for the MSD over there, and then this is going to be my tack wire, which hooks into that white wire. And then the white wire doesn't get used. And then these two, I think these are 12 gauge. And according to them, all I got to do is hook this into a power supply and then hook this to the block. So I'll hook it into that fuse right there. Hello. So I had a boo-boo today. Wrecked the truck. Steering box is totaled. It won't steer. Just goes round and around. Ruined this fender and my bumper and my grill and this side. Anyway, my fuel supplier was in a Duramax, and I was following him. He got clear over in the left lane, and I slowed down, thank goodness, or it'd have been worse. Anyway, he didn't signal, and he just turned to the right to swing in a driveway, and I couldn't get stopped. Plowed into him. So looks like I got a whole bunch of repair work to do. It didn't ruin my hood, thank goodness. But I'll need a fender, and I don't know if I can straighten the inner part out or not. I hope so. If not, I'll need a new inner, which would be a pain because you've got all this stuff on there. Didn't break any of the headlight bulbs or the turn signal even, but that wheel's kind of cocked out, so I'm assuming it bent my ball joint. Hope that's all it did. Hope it didn't ruin the axle. Bend that. I don't think it could. So I'll be down to driving the little gasser Super Dodge. What do you think, Mr. Griff? You gonna give me an estimate on that? On the damages? That sucked. I've got, oh geez, I forget everything I've got. Got my oil pressure line hooked up. I got my heater wire hooked up. I'll have a temperature sending unit tomorrow so I can hook up the temperature wire. And where'd that go? Here he is. So I got this cool purple stuff for that too. Kind of blends in, hides things. I got over there along the firewall, I got 2 of them. Anyway, I got the car jacked up. Got the wires run down to the backup switch on the tranny. And I just got a box from Classic Industries, so I'll have my starter relay here so I can finish wiring up that stuff. Anyway, Mr. Griffey has come out with me. Haven't you, buddy? Yeah, so just came out to turn the furnace down. Well, it's gonna turn on anyway. It turned off. What? Let's go. You have to bark at everything that tries to start? Apparently he does. Oh, I've had enough for today. Time to go in the house. Make sure everything's off. Turn the heat down. Parts washer's off. What did I forget, Mr. G? Senor G? So I got up this morning and I came out and I thought I was dreaming, but I wasn't. My truck's still smashed. So I went to town today and bought $830 worth of front end parts. That doesn't even include the steering box. Got to get that and a fender and a bumper and a grill. And then the insurance company called me, the other guy's insurance company. And they're like, well, you could go ahead and file a claim with your insurance company and then we'd work it out with them. And I'm like, no, I'd rather not do that. So I called my insurance agent to beat up his insurance agent. I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm just gonna start fixing it. I gotta have it going. I need to go to California. I bought a cat hose press. This one's all mounted on a bench. Got the pump. Got all the dies with it, and it even has the dies that will do crimp-on fittings. So those other 2 ones, the portable one I have, and the other one I got, which is just the hydraulic part of it, I'll probably just sell those. Anyway, I need to go get it. And I don't have a truck. Maybe I should just go buy a new one. What do you think? Let's just go blow 70 grand or more. How's that? Take Mr. Griff. So anyway, you guys have a good evening. Okay, I've been working on the Challenger today again. I got my new sending unit installed in my gas tank, and then that's the pad that goes on there. So all those tubes you see sticking out here are for like vapor recovery and venting. I have no idea how they hooked it up, but I know there's a ton of missing components because whoever built the car originally fixed it up, got rid of all that. Anyway, he had pieces of hose with bolts in it and clamps, and it's kind of in a bad spot. So I got a 3/8 sending unit. The old one was a 5/16, and it's got a vent on the side of it. I'll probably use that. But I got a bunch of 5/16 cap plugs that'll be here tomorrow. I got from Napa to either plug that one there and use one of those, or plug all those and use that one over there. But I got to figure out what to do there. I was thinking I'd probably take some fuel line and a fuel filter and run that up under the car somewhere to make a breather out of it. You got to vent the fumes. I mean, I don't know if the fuel tank cap is vented or not. But if it's not vented and you have no vents, that's a problem. Anyway, I've got my starter relay put in, and what this is for is so you can't start it in gear. So I'll take a short jumper wire off of here, which is the hot wire to it. And then one of these is a ground, and one of these, this yellow wire here, is going to get hooked to it. So when you turn the ignition on, it'll send juice to this switch, and it'll close this switch, and then this one goes down to the solenoid. The purple wire hooks there, and that sends juice to the solenoid on the starter to start it. The other wire that goes on here is going to be a ground, and if the car is not in neutral, it won't ground this terminal, and it won't activate this switch, therefore it won't start. Now, the transmission has a neutral safety switch on it from the factory, and I'm going to use that. Most modern vehicles, you have to push the clutch in to start them. I don't care if they're in neutral, you have to push the clutch in. And I could put a clutch safety switch on, but then that means I'd have to be in neutral and the clutch in to get it started. So I'm just going to go with the neutral safety switch. Oh my gosh, you still working on this? Holy moly. So service manuals and phone books are good for something. So I've glued that pad on top of the tank so I can get that back in. Oh, so those vent deals right there, those are 1/4 inch. So now I have what do I have? 3/8, 5/16, and some really small ones, but I don't have what I really need. So I haven't been getting a whole lot done this morning on account of it's Friday and I spent the morning paying bills, and generally Monday's bill paying day, so everything was late. But this is all I got left. That's it. Down to my last $500,000. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So we had a little storm roll through this morning. It's still kind of blowing. Sunshine's out. Drifting in front of my house. Pretty good. I'm getting a big drift out there in the driveway. I don't know if we're gonna get some more, but oh shit, that thing's still here. I don't want to look at that anymore. So I bought a hose press in California. I don't know if I told you that. Probably did. Anyway, I wanted to go get it. It's a complete setup. See this big one I bought? It's not mounted on the table. So I got one that is mounted on a table with a pump, with all of the dies and the dies to do crimp on hole. Yeah, I told you that. Never mind. Anyway, so it's Friday about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So either I need to go in the house and make a video or finish it, or I need to start working on the car. Oh, my hydraulic rods, cylinder rods for the D9H are done. Andy's got those done. They've been done for a while, and I need to get over there and get those. So again, I don't have a truck to go get those, but I need to take, I think I got a couple of these heads that, I got more than a couple, I think. Looks like 1, 2, there's those 2. I think those 2 don't have wear sleeves in them. So yeah, this one and this one have the wear sleeves already cut in them. So I got 2 that need wear sleeves. Actually 3, 4. These are the dozer blade ones. Those need wear sleeves in them. So I could take those to the machine shop and get those going. Anyway, then I could get the barrels in here. One of them's got to be line board on the bearing end. And get that fixed. Then I could get them in here and start assembling them. But I still want the car done, so I could get that out of here, and I can put the 1693 over in the corner on the table, because I've got piston sleeves over here. I just need to get pistons. I think I was wondering, I think I have rings too. I just need pistons. Then this could become the 1693 corner, and I could get going on that. Actually, I think I better check. It's been so long. I thought they were in here stacked. Huh. Yeah, piston ring. Oh, right there. There they are. I got piston rings. I just need pistons. So, send all your Cleveite pistons to Anderson Construction, 858 West, 100 South, Blackfoot, Idaho, 83221. Anyway, some days after I get done doing all this stuff, it's like really hard to come out here and go to work. So maybe I better just sit down and rest for a minute. Oh.